already starting to get all mixed up with what day it is and whatever because
I
it's
know.
we're recording on day 3 for day 4, and then I have to schedule a
Posts.
post for this to go out, and then I have to remember to go back tomorrow and look at that. Anyway, it's like so
Right.
if we're
But then you
racing through
share,
a couple
but
months,
but in
yeah,
reality, it's day 3, even though we're recording day 4, but you share the progress from day 2.
but yes, yeah, that's the whole yeah.
That's the problem.
We're shuffling a lot. We need to get like a chalkboard behind us where we could be like share and
I write
erase.
it down. I actually
That
write
is
it
so
down.
smart. That is so
I
smart.
just can't manage otherwise.
Because I haven't even started knitting my project yet. So I only have the 2 layers right now. But once I start knitting, then yeah, I have to do the day behind.
Well, and here's my dilemma. Last year, I would share the day 2 stripe on day 3, but I'm a little hesitant to do that since not everybody's stripes are the same now.
That I have been thinking about that because
But I might just put
everybody,
up a spoiler and be like, okay, well, look if you want, but here's the spoiler.
yeah, and other people are saying like what colors they have, and and sure they're not posting pictures. So,
Or
like
they
I think
are.
that's fine. I haven't seen anyone else post a picture, but like, yeah, but then you could be spoiling it for them. And so it is kind of tricky as far as social media with the
But
soft.
I might just, like I said, I might just put up a spoiler photo and people can just look if they want because,
It is what it is.
choice, it's a
Yeah,
choice.
it is what it is.
Yeah.
Everybody's an adult and capable of making decisions.
Well, in theory, I can't make decisions very well at all.
Pointed coffee slurp.
I don't know what's going on here. I have a hump. We haven't talked about hair yet. I know. Right. Okay. So I'm trying to let it grow out a little more, then I'm going to undercut it on both sides because
Mhm.
I thought about growing it out, but my hair's like baby fine. And I look like a troll that came out from under a bridge when I let it grow out. But I kind of want to because I like having long hair, but I don't like how it looks on me necessarily. But I like having it. And I
Yeah.
haven't tried it in a decade, but I don't know if I could have the patience for that to get through the in-between thing. So my husband's like, just
Same.
undercut it because he likes the undercut. He says, because my hair is really fine and soft, he's like, it feels like a kitty. So he's like, just shave the sides and maybe do some purple, streaks. Not like dye the whole thing purple, but just some streaks. And then yeah, I'm like,
I
not
like
a bad
your
idea.
hair. I like your hair short and like undercut and stuff. I think it suits you and I think it suits your personality and I think it's cool.
And if I get chosen to go to Sweden, I'll just have a cold, I'll just wear one of those big fur bomber hat things.
Yeah. Before we do that, because we haven't talked about that yet either. So just a reminder, everybody go to I Thought I Knew How on Instagram, leave a comment for to win the giveaway prize. And today's for yesterday winner was Lisa M. Driscoll. So congratulations. And now Jana, tell us more about this thing that you're trying to get into.
It's ridiculous. My kids are like, I hope you don't die. I'm like, yeah,
Hey,
me
me
too.
too.
Thanks. So, most people that will have watched the channel for any length of time know that I like I backpack. It was kind of my midlife crisis thing was going backpacking. I didn't start my first backpacking trip. I didn't even buy gear or anything until I was 49. Anyway, so backpacking is a kind of a big deal for me, and I really enjoy doing longer trips, like being out for at least a week.
Mhm.
So like last summer I did the Centennial Trail, most of the Centennial Trail in South Dakota. Uh, I've done the whole thing at one time or another, but I was out for like 8 days and did almost 80 miles, and I love it. Anyway, so Fjallraven, I don't know if you know the company Fjall. If I'm in Sweden, I'm not pronouncing that correctly. It would be Fjallraven or something. Anyway, it means Arctic fox. So they have the logo. Do you know the company I'm talking
Yeah,
about? Okay, some people don't. Anyway,
but other people may not. So
yeah.
I'm
So
letting you explain.
they put out a call for applications. It's obviously a marketing thing because they make fantastic gear. Think about like LL Bean or Eddie Bauer doubled in quality. and
Yeah, because
probably
they're
puff.
dealing with like serious,
Right.
serious cold.
So they make like expedition parkas and things that are going to keep you comfortable and warm above the Arctic Circle.
Right.
So, and then anyway, so they make bibs and they make sweaters, they make all kinds of clothing as well as gear. And they put out this marketing thing and they're like, well, anybody can do this. Anybody can go outside and enjoy the winter with a little bit of knowledge and the correct clothing.
Nice. Okay.
And so they put out applications. So there's usually like 30 to 35,000 people that apply to go on this expedition. And you don't have to know anything. You don't have to know how to do this, but it's a 300-kilometer dog sledding trip in Sweden above the Arctic Circle in April. And they like teach you everything. You have your own little team of dogs. There's like 6 Alaskan Huskies that you take care of, and you sled
Ah,
and you do it all. And they teach you how, and they provide all the gear and the like, expedition anoraks and the under the base layers and all the things. And they say on the frequently asked questions page, they're like, when you travel, just bring the clothes you're traveling in and like medications, personal, things like that. That's it. They provide everything else.
nice.
So it's
That's
like a
cool.
week, and 300 kilometers, if you're wondering, for you Americans, is approximately 186 miles. So it's
Nice.
186 miles in 6 or 7 days.
Hmm.
Yeah.
So
And
like 30 to 40 miles a day with the
yeah.
dogs.
Yeah. And poop in a snowbank. Well, I mean,
Yeah,
everyone has to.
nature. A
Nate.
lot of things poop in snowbanks, you just join in.
Well, and you do pick up after yourself. It is a wildlife wilderness area. You literally pick up after yourself. I mean, maybe let it freeze first. I mean, I think you pick up after your dogs too.
Yeah, I would hope so. Yeah.
Well, yeah.
A lot of people leave it and they don't realize that having such a concentration of dogs in an area, like speaking, because we have a walking path that's very close to our house.
Right.
And it's a constant battle to get people to, because it's surrounded by nature and they're like, they're dogs, it's nature, it's all natural.
It's
But
not all
having
natural.
that much poop
Yeah.
in an area, get into then the
Yeah.
waterways
And it's
around it.
not all natural. Your dogs don't eat natural things. Your dogs eat commercial dog food. It's not.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
So clean
anyway,
clean up and put it in the bag. And if you're going to leave it to come back to, when you get back to it, pick it up and
yeah,
take it
don't
with you.
I
Okay. Sorry.
I'm like, don't even
Arctic
leave it.
Adventures.
Don't
Sorry.
even leave it. Don't even leave it. So anyway, so that's a ton of fun. And if you consider
That's awesome.
everybody has their own dog team, so 6 dogs per person,
Uh-huh.
that's 120 dogs.
That's a lot. So you've been filming like little clips and
All
stuff.
right. So thank you. Woo. The app
It's
the
cool.
application process was you just fill out this little form, and then once they have your Instagram and they verify that your Instagram is correct, then they put out 3 different challenges. The first challenge, and these are on my page if on my
Yeah.
grid if anybody cares, but the first one was like introduce yourself, where you're from, blah blah blah, your connection to nature. And the second one was how can you deepen your connection to nature and also share experiences in nature with others. So more people are getting outside, especially in the
Okay.
winter, right? There is no such thing as bad weather. There's bad clothing. That's what the Nordic people say.
Hmm.
And, you know, and I kind of agree, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you want to be smart. You don't, yeah. Anyhow, people have died in blizzards from not being smart, not because of their clothing. Anyhow, um, and then the third one was, oh no, the third one was how you can deepen your connection with nature and then share that with others. The second challenge was, what is a piece of gear that you've loved and repaired and and kept and reused, and so I told the story about a tent, and you can go watch that on my channel if you want, but
I loved that challenge too when you put it up because I thought that was such a smart way of identifying people who have been doing it for a while
right.
and have shown ingenuity as they do it because
Yeah.
it's like they're not just buying gear and throwing it, they're actually taking care of their gear. So I was like, that was a really genius
Yeah,
challenge.
well, and they talk about that on their channel, on their Instagram.
Yeah.
is people that have had like a parka that was their grandfather's and they're still using it. I think
Yeah.
that's fantastic. So you, of course, they're trying to sell stuff, right? But they're also promoting reusing and passing down what you have because it is good quality, you know?
Yeah.
Anyhow, so their parameters are they want a cross section of ages. You don't have to have any experience. One of the people chosen last year had never been camping.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So, and there's people from, the countries in the near the equator that are going on this expedition. So they want a wide variety of cultural backgrounds and geographic locations as well as ages. So
Mhm.
it would be like winning the lottery. Like I have no chance in hell, right? But you don't get it if you don't even try. So why not?
Yeah.
Why not?
Yeah. No, I totally agree. I have something similar that I have applied for that I am 100% sure I'm not going to get because I don't think I qualify.
Tell me.
But so in the UK right now, they are putting together like a Great British Baking Show for knitters called the
Really?
Game of Wool. And I think
What?
like the first or second point of like going through the thing of like, here's the requirements and what you need to know is that you have to be a resident of the UK. And I was like, define resident
Because you
because
have a flat in
I
Shetland,
do have a flat in the UK.
right?
And so I was like, I guess I'll just do the application and see what they say.
Now, when is this supposed to come out?
So it would be filmed in March and April. They're like, you're there for 8 weeks. You have to be able to commit to 2 months of filming, and you can't talk about it at all
Gag
once you're
order.
with it. Yeah. And then, but it's like different, like Di Gilpin's one of the ladies involved, and it's different challenges, and it's not just knitting. They wanted to know how good you are at crochet, and they were asking questions
Oh,
like, when did you start? Like, sort of give us your background in how you started knitting and whatever, and then like, what do you consider yourself? What level do you consider yourself? And
wow.
then how would someone else consider you? Like, what level would they say? And I was like, well, like, what would your family and friends say? Like, what level would they say you are? And I was like, well, they would just say I'm obsessive because they don't understand about different levels of knitting. So what they know is I'm obsessive about it, but
Yeah. Yeah.
um, and just like different things. I can't even remember the whole application process, but like it was all sort of like I kind of qualified. Like like I think I'd be a good person for the show.
Yes.
And I did get to the end and I was like, look, I know it says resident. I do have a flat in Shetland. I'm there for a good chunk of the year every time. But just in case, the wait time for a work visa is 3 weeks at
And
this point.
yeah. And well, and you don't have dual citizenship. So it depends on how, yeah.
So it really, and I could totally, because there was this one time, and I know like for Great British Baking Show, there's not just a residency requirement, but you have to be like a 5 year, at least 5 years
Oh, I
resident.
didn't know that. I didn't know that. Okay.
And
Wow.
there, like, we were there in Shetland one time when they were filming Shetland, the TV show, and they put out a call for extras, and they pay the extras there.
Right.
It's like not much. It's like 20 pounds for the whole day or something
Well,
like that.
still, yeah.
And they needed people with dive gear that fit them, and because it was just sort of like a wild swimming group in the background. They call it wild swimming. We just called it swimming growing up. You just swam outside, but like one of the characters was at the wild swimming group, and there were, because it's cold, everyone's in a
A wetsuit.
gear and wetsuit, so they stay warm. So they're all sort of milling around in the background, and that's what they needed for that day. And Adam was there, and he had some dive gear with him because he was thinking about going out. And I was like, you should just see if you can go do that. That would be fun. But as soon as they heard he was there as a tourist, they were like, no, you can't. And we were even like, well, what if he just doesn't get paid? What if he just goes for the experience of having done it? And they're like, no, we can't not pay people. They all have to be paid. Like,
Insurance, I'm sure,
yeah, like it's just they can't, we can't.
etc.
So they're like, okay,
Interesting. So when are you
oh well.
supposed to find out about this Great British
I
thing?
forget the date. It's somewhat it's like January 15th or something where they were like, if you don't hear from us by then, you're not in.
Okay.
And please don't contact us, kind of thing. Which I'm sure there's lots, I'm sure they're getting lots of applications. And but then at the same time, it's like, well, how many people can take 2 months away from their lives to do that?
I
So
don't
maybe
know.
it's not. I don't know.
I
But
mean, people apply for the baking thing.
yeah, there's people who do the baking show, and there's other shows like that exist. So
Oh,
obviously,
oh, I have to tell you this. So
okay.
this was completely coincidental, serendipitous even. I remember how I told you like years and years I've been saying I don't have a passport. So I rectified that. And I went the day that I went to my local courthouse to turn in my passport application, and I had already done my photo at the local pharmacy. They have the background and
Right.
I had done all that, gone to the courthouse. The day that I did that, I came home and I'm just on Instagram, like having a snack and having a cup of tea. And I see this Fjallraven event expedition the day I applied for my passport.
It's meant to be. And even if it doesn't happen, it's your sign that you need to just like get out. Like, let's get out.
I have my passport now
You
in
have
my
your
hand.
passport. Let's
Yes.
go to Sweden.
Okay. It only took like 3 weeks to get it.
Yeah, it's really quick. Like there was a slowdown because of COVID, and then it was taking
Yeah.
months and months, but it seems like everything's back to normal
Well,
again.
I mean, it's winter. People aren't really going. I mean, it's not like spring break time or summer or whatever.
Yeah, but still, it really isn't hard to get a passport. I mean, it's really like the turnaround time isn't as bad as people tend
No,
to
it
think
wasn't that
it
bad
is.
at all. And I've never had one before. And it was kind of like, oh, it's pretty.
Yeah, and now you can run all around the world.
Well, I mean, in
The
theory,
bummer thing about passports now is so many countries just scan it. They don't stamp it
you don't do
anymore.
the,
So, yeah.
can you
So
ask, can you please stamp my passport? It's cool.
no, a lot of them, like there's some places there's not even a person there. When you go into the UK, if you're an American citizen going into the UK, you go through a scanner. It's like a cattle chute kind of thing. So you're like in your little chute, and there's a thing right here that's like the size of a small iPad that goes up and down and aligns with your eyes.
Yeah.
And it takes a picture, and there's a little scanner there, and you scan in your thing. And like over behind the wall, there's agents who are looking at your passport and your face.
Wow.
And if everything's cool, they just open the chute and you just walk through. Like you don't even talk to anyone.
Yeah.
You're
Yeah.
just in the country. So
And,
it's great because it moves people along much faster, but
but there's no
you don't
stamp.
get to.
Wow.
So,
Okay.
and I haven't had that. Like I don't think I've had it going into the EU last time.
Interesting.
And I
Huh.
can't even remember. I think probably the last time I've had my passport stamped was going into the Philippines.
Wow.
They had stickers. Like I don't remember it getting, maybe Peru did it too.
So you won't find out for a little while. I will find out about my application for the Fjallraven expedition. It's called Fjallraven Polar or Polar if you're American, but they say Fjallraven Polar. I will find out about that. They will make an announcement on their channel, the Fjallraven YouTube. I'm not sure if they simulcast to Instagram or not, but they will do an announcement at, I think it's 4 p.m. Central European time, which for me is 8 in the morning on December 9th.
Oh, so soon. Oh, that's exciting
And scary.
and scary.
I would be a little scared. I mean, if I get picked, which I mean, I know it's unlikely, but whatever. I might be a little scared. But that's the kind of thing
That's
where like
okay.
you got to do it scared. You got to do it. I mean, it's the
Yeah.
chance of a lifetime.
And it's not like you're actually going out on your own, like with
No, they have like
dogs
a
and like
doctor that
whatever. You
follows
have a
along in a
full,
snowmobile.
yeah,
I mean,
you're fully supported. It's safe.
yes.
It's safe risk.
Yes, yes. And you have people that you have a team. So there's 20 people and you have a team of 4 or 5. You have your little group and you have, the head musher guy. And I mean, they're not going to let you die.
Right. That would not reflect well on their company.
So I guess, if you're going to do it, it's a good way to go about it, right?
Yeah. Yeah. And it's a first step, like who knows? Jana gets sled dogs, starts mushing into town. I read a book once about a lady, and that was, oh, what was that book about? It was before we even moved to the Philippines. So it would have been 20 odd years ago now. And it started out with a woman who was raising sled dogs and it wasn't working out with her husband. And she ended up like leaving everything. It was like in Alaska. And like, I don't know why that memory of this book just popped into my head because I remember nothing else about the book. I don't remember anything else about like what she did after she left.
Well, if you figure out the title, text it to me.
Well, someone out there maybe knows what it is. I might have to see if I can log into Goodreads after a decade
Yeah.
and see if I can find it there.
Anyway, so that's fun.
Dan's
Oh,
random.
can I give you let me give you an update real quick before we
Okay.
open your thing. Okay, so remember I was telling about my DK Advent kit from 2022 that I have that I traded my
Yes.
shawl for? Okay. So I knitted a square from the Radvent throw, and here's the problem. It's lovely and it's going to be great, and if I block it, it'll be fine. However, yarn chicken.
Yeah, that's close.
And then, there's 23 more of these. So do I risk it? Like, how do I know that they're all exactly the same length?
Yeah, and I ran into that with the
The unicorn shawl.
unicorn one. But because it was garter stitch going into garter stitch, I was able to just start the next one a little early. But that is not,
That's troublesome. And
that
I'm
is,
already cutting the pattern short because if you look,
yeah, that's not
you
as
get the
big as it
center
normally
and you
is.
have see the V, you have these V's. You're supposed to have four. You're supposed to have
I see.
like one, two, three. I'm already cutting it short, but it's DK and it's an okay size. It's a little smaller than I would prefer, but yarn chicken, that's it. It's not like I cut that. That is all there was.
That is worrying.
Yeah,
So what you could do though, Jana, what you could do is you could weigh that and weigh all the other ones and see if they're that weight or more.
mm, that's smart. You smart.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Um,
I could.
uh,
Or here's another
go ahead.
thought. I've just been thinking about other options. So
Okay. Yeah, shoot me. Or
yeah,
shoot.
I could do that.
Don't shoot me.
I could do the habitation throw and then alternate a stripe of neutral, a neutral
Okay.
color that I have that's a different brand but is also DK and kind of create my own thing there, just using the kind of a knitted on the bias idea. Although I don't want to make a square. I think I would knit on the bias and do a rectangle. So basically I would just do my own thing.
Okay.
Um, I could do the nectar blanket
What's that one?
by Isolde Teague. That's the one I knitted for charity where Barocco
Oh,
Jenner
okay.
donated, and it's had the hexagons with the kind of flower in the middle.
Yeah,
What's interesting about that is I knitted it all in one color, but and then there's kind of a garter stitch edge around each hexagon. So what you can do, and if you look at the projects, what some people have done is knit the center hex of the hexagon where the kind of lace pattern is
I see.
with
Yeah,
my DK Advent and then use my neutral with of as the border of each hexagon.
that would be cute.
And then I think I could just knit one of the hexagons and weigh that and then do exactly what you just suggested.
Okay.
I don't know. I have decision
That nectar
fatigue.
blanket, that's really pretty. And
Yeah,
I can see the appeal of doing like having different colors in the center and then all
right,
ringed. I think that
right.
would be really funky and cute.
And I've knitted it before and I pretty well have the pattern memorized at this point.
The
It's
center of that square is the same center of a doily I did.
oh, the hexagon thing? Yeah.
Yeah, that sort of that star in the middle with the
Yeah.
lace
Yeah.
dots. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
that's
a
cool.
sort of classic.
So that's a thought. And also, I knitted this on a 7, and I mean, it could even be on an 8. I could even go up a little bit, maybe.
Yeah, but you'd knit less of the square.
Right.
You'd be able to knit less of the square. So,
So we'll
but
see.
if you
Anyway,
like the fabric better, then that doesn't really matter.
right. So we'll see. I don't know what to do. Right
So
now, it's
I'm
sick.
gonna throw something out there just in case anyone else got Becky's mini advent, which is the one I have.
Right.
So first 3 days. So
Hmm.
these are the mini ones. I think I said the other day they're 25. That's because there was a misprint on the label. This is because it's the minis. The full size advent's 25. The minis I think were supposed to be 10 or 15.
Okay.
Anyway, that's what these are.
Okay.
Um, if you have the mini, can you please check your packages and see if you are missing day 15? Because I got 2 day 15s and we are trying
Oh,
to hunt down who is missing their day 15.
I see. So if
So
it's you, let
so
yeah, let Ann
she
know.
knows she knows some of the people who bought them, but then there were other people who came to the booth at Shetland Wool Week and bought the last few, and she does not know who you are. So if you happen to be watching, and you can send me a picture of the rest of your advent so I know like you really are the person who got it. If you're on this side of the Atlantic, I will send it to you. Well, if you're in the US, I will send it to you. If not, I'm going to get it back to Becky and she will send it to you because again, international shipping is ridiculous.
Right.
Um, but
Right.
we're trying to get you sorted out and we need to find you. So
Right. So if you're missing day 15 of the Silly Sheep Advent, send
mini,
Ann a message.
send me a message.
Email and Instagram, etc. is in the description below.
In the show notes down below.
There you go.
Should I go ahead and open
Yes.
more? I'll start
Yep.
with Becky's since we were
Since we were
just
just
talking
talking
about
about that. Day 4.
rip, rip, rip. Ooh, wow. Oh, this is a big one. I think I
Oh,
got a proper 25 today.
okay. Well,
It's just
maybe.
all kinds of fun. I got a natural though. So here we go.
Here you go. That's awesome.
Fun. See, this would be fun to do that hexagon one in and have like white and then these like
Yes.
pops in the middle.
Yeah, I can't have white in my house. I'm not that clean.
Yeah, well, with the
I'm one of those
dog, I
people.
can't
This
even
is
have the
why.
wool.
This is why we can't have nice things. That's me.
It's first 4 days. Yay!
Excellent. Okay, do you want to see the day 3 stripe?
Show me your
Okay, look away now if you don't want to see.
Pretty.
Day 3. And then here's the neutral,
I'm gonna
right?
laugh if it's white. Oh, pretty.
It's like lime.
I
Wow.
like that. That's like
Wow.
building like a spring garden. That's beautiful.
That's cool. These are gonna
Yeah.
be so fun. I love to wear socks like this with my Birkenstocks, and I just don't care if it makes me a dork. Whatever.
I don't care.
I don't care. Love it.
I think that's fabulous. Those are shaping up to be really fun socks.
Yes, I'm gonna knit that right now.
I'm gonna move on to day 4.
Yeah.
So these are our first 3 days of the Shetland Hogmanay box from Uradale Yarns. Ooh, Uradale Yarns. Look how
Yep.
big my hand looks when I do that.
At least you have all 4 fingers. I mean, it's not like a hamburger helper hand, you know,
That's right.
where
So
it's
first 3, here's our fourth. So nice Moret brown.
ooh,
Moret
that's
brown.
lovely. Oh
Isn't
my.
that great? So we
That's
have a lovely fade. And tomorrow, don't cheat, guys. We're gonna wait till tomorrow. Tomorrow we're gonna open day 5, which is this big envelope here. And it is going to have the simplified version of the pattern so we can cast on and get started with our first 4 colors. So each maker, each chunk of, we get 4 colors for each repeat of the pattern.
nice.
This is our first set, and we'll get the pattern and we'll be able to get started. So, woo-hoo!
Yay. So one other thing I want to talk about real quick is
Sure.
just a reminder for people. Since I've been talking about what blanket or Afghan should I do, I am going to be doing videos for the Barocco Mystery Blanket Knit Along starting in
Yes.
January. And you were talking about a simplified version of the pattern we can get started. So Barocco has generously offered to send me so that I can do videos. They're going to send me the pattern a little bit early so I can get started. And they're doing that for yarn stores also, so they can have a shop sample and they could,
Right.
schedule classes and whatnot. Um, so I have that. Look on my Instagram and on my YouTube, you'll see the Barocco Mystery Knit Along logo, the blanket logo, and then a podcast I did with Allison Green where we've talked about that. And yeah, and so they're sending me the yarn for that. I'm going to do the neutral color scheme because I had decision fatigue. Allison was like, "You could pick whatever colors you want and show people how," and I'm like, pressure.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, I looked and looked and looked. Barocco Vintage comes in like 100 colors, more than
I
100 colors.
know. That's
And
so hard sometimes.
I even
Yeah.
typed in Google like 5 color fall palette, 5 color winter palette. And then I had decision fatigue and then I couldn't do it. And I emailed her back and I'm like, I've been looking at this and poring over this for a week. Just send me the neutral because that will match my couch. And I'm like, it was too
And
much.
it'll film well too. To
It'll
like looking at the practicalities, neutrals film
Right,
well.
right,
It'll
right.
fit into your
It's
decor.
too much for
Yeah.
me. My husband's like, "Oh my God, stop it." Because I'm like, "What do you think about this?" And I show him the computer and he's like, Stop it." I'm sure he wanted to just go, you know, I can't
Yeah.
even order checks. I have to just get the free over 50 checks because I'm over 50 and I have the free checking account at the bank. And so I have to just get the
Uh-huh.
free blue checks they send because it's too much for me. I can't,
It's
I mean, that's
basic.
like that executive dysfunction. I can't handle it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Isn't that funny? But people like us are great in a crisis. I mean,
Yes.
I was a 911 dispatcher for years and I did great. But can I order my own checks?
I
No.
get so zen in like when a problem arises, I'm just like, like, okay, let's look at this rationally. How do
Yeah.
we solve this problem? You know?
But ordering, it's subjective. I can't do subjective things. Maybe that's it. Maybe that's
Yeah.
it. Huh.
We all have different strengths.
Yeah. Anyway. So yay.
People
Thanks,
who can
Allison.
just pick colors, though, I admire that so
Oh,
much.
same.
That is a skill.
I would love to. Oh, speaking of, here's another problem I have. I could go get it and show you. Maybe I'll show you tomorrow. I have a hand spun knitted like poncho thing that goes down to like my elbows that my mother made for me because it's cold here in the winter and so you can just slip it on and wait for the house to warm up. However, she did it in hand spun and it's kind of that off-white sort of ivory
Naturally,
sheep
yeah, she's
color.
white. Yeah.
Yeah, but I look ghastly. I mean,
Uh,
you know, so I want to over dye it. And I have proper acid dyes that you would dye yarn with.
uh-huh.
But I don't know what to do. And I said, I asked her if she has any of that specific hand spun left that I could test a little bit. No,
Right.
no, this was years ago. She doesn't have any more of that fleece. She doesn't have any more. I don't know what to do.
But you could test it on another natural white, right? Like it would be close enough, wouldn't it?
These things are hard. It's hard.
Yeah.
This is why I just wear a t-shirt because I don't have to decide. I just pick something out of the drawer and what's
Can
for
I tell
dinner?
you
Oh
what
man.
my best investment was for myself? I think about this time last year. I found a what to wear guide where she gives you a list of literally like, well, she'll walk you through like, here's how to pick colors that are good for you. Here's how to pick styles that are good for you. Like all of this stuff, all of this stuff. But she also just gives you a straight up checklist like have a long sleeve striped shirt, have a short sleeve striped shirt, have a long sleeve solid, have a short sleeve solid, like just like all of these things. And I think it ends
Capsule.
up being like 70 things though. And her thing is this is not a capsule wardrobe.
Okay.
This is a wardrobe. And then I want to say like 70 things, but like 10 of those are like like necklaces and bracelets
Oh,
and earrings, you know, and there's
so it's
like
accessories as well.
8 pairs of shoes and
Okay.
there's like 2 different bags, you know, so it adds up to like 70 things or
Yeah.
something. And then there's like your summer and your winter. But anyway, but then it's like, okay, here's the 13th day of December. This is what you're wearing. 14th day of December. This is what you're wearing.
Wow.
And I'm just like, I love this.
Wow.
So I bought it. I did a whole closet clean out to
Yeah.
just down. I had to buy like 5 things to match her list.
Okay.
I got rid of like all this other stuff that I was like, I thought it looked cute and it didn't really, but it's still in my closet. Or, you know, I don't need 7 colored t-shirts. I can have 2 and the rest can go to Goodwill and someone else can benefit, you know? And I just like,
Right.
and I actually labeled see, this is the ADHD, right? I labeled the hangers for each one. So as I do my laundry, I can put it back on the hanger for it. And
Wow.
yeah, and so now I get up in the morning, I open up my iPad and I'm like, okay, I'm wearing that. And if it's like not practical for what I have to do that day, I'll just skip ahead a few days and then go back to that another day that month. But it makes packing easier. It makes
Oh,
getting and
yeah.
deciding what to wear easier. Like I just don't
Yeah.
have to think about it anymore. And I love it
Mhm.
so much.
My biggest problem is what's for dinner. Right. Right.
I'm
Oh my
so sick
word.
of food. I'm so sick of food. Like, can we just have nutrition enter our bodies? Like,
Yeah.
yeah, I hate.
Although I will tell you, I found a cauliflower crust pizza that's yummy.
Is it truly a cauliflower crust pizza or is it a pizza that they've made with cauliflower?
I'll look, but I'm pretty sure it truly is.
Okay, because there was one in our grocery store like 2 years ago that was a true cauliflower crust pizza. It was cauliflower, egg, and cheese, and that's all it was.
Right.
And I was so happy I was eating pizza again that I didn't have to make myself. And
Right.
then I thought like 3 or 4 months later, I was like, oh, I should just double check the label because every now and then food companies change things.
Sure.
And I looked, and sure enough, they'd added like rice flour and all this other stuff to it. And I was like,
More carby things. Yeah. I hear you.
so I'm back to having to make my own pizza again.
That's
And
unfair.
really, so Jana, I know you've like gone lower carb slash low carb.
Yeah.
What I've started to do instead of even bothering with a crust for pizza is I get a 9 by 9 pan and I
Mm.
just put a layer of tomato paste down and then the cheese and then the toppings and I just bake it like that and I eat it out
Oh,
of the thing with a fork.
interesting. So it's just
You still
like
get,
a pizza bowl.
yeah, it's like pizza toppings. What are you making tonight? I'm making pizza toppings. And I just like that's what I have. And I just eat my little 9 by 9 of that.
Yeah. Oh, maybe
It's
you're right. I'm looking at the ingredients. Crust. Oh, it does have rice flour, rice starch, egg whites. Oh, yeah.
yeah,
Okay.
there was one. I remember it had a cutout on the package that was a thumbs up sign. And that was where you could see the pizza on the inside. I don't
Oh,
remember what it was called though, but that was the one I could get. And then yeah, they changed it up on
yeah.
me.
So Will told me he came home from the store last night because he does the grocery shopping because one, he's better at it, and two, he makes decisions better than I do. But they didn't have the cauliflower crust pizza. So he brought home a broccoli crust pizza.
Ooh.
But I think it still has the rice flour too.
Yeah, yeah,
But yeah, the what's for dinner thing is hard.
it is. It's annoying. And I hate being an adult for this reason, mainly because I have to be in charge of this stuff and I don't like to.
I know it's annoying. But
We still have to talk about hair, but we'll do that another day because that's like a whole thing. Always. Anyone who's watched this before, you know hair
I
is a
did
whole.
talk about hair a little bit in the
You talked
beginning.
about yours.
Okay, we'll
Mine's
talk
to be
about
ridiculous and obnoxious.
so
And
you want to talk about your hair tomorrow? Okay.
well, I mean, how long have we've been recording for like 40 minutes, I think.
Stay tuned for Anne's hair update tomorrow.
Stay tuned. I have to go to the hairdresser later this week too, so it's pertinent. So
Huh.
yeah, I'm 75.
I'm like the hairdresser. Nobody calls it that anymore. You do, clearly.
Apparently.
Okay. Well,
Well,
see you tomorrow then.
okay, my dear. Have a lovely day.
You too.
Bye,
Bye.
everybody.